So as you guys are aware, there is a lot of drama surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2 right now. People are complaining about the price of the video games. Some people are complaining about the price of the console. People are complaining about what's being offered. There's all kinds of nonsense going on with the Nintendo Switch 2. However, with all that being said, one of the biggest things that is happening right now is the fact that Nintendo has just recently announced that they are in fact going to delay the pre-orders for the Switch 2 in the United States due to the tariffs apparently from the president Donald Trump. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily true, right? This could be some sort of political speech and whatnot, but I do find it very interesting and I want to talk about it. So let's get into this article, guys, from Insider Gaming. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, guys, the Switch 2 has a lot of drama surrounding it right now. But at the end of the day, we all know that people are going to go out there and buy the Switch 2. As much as they want to pretend to be angry, or some people are legitimately angry, and some people will, in fact, not buy it. But I think ultimately this is going to be one of the hottest selling consoles by far. Usually, what is, it's pretty usual for Nintendo stuff, basically. It says if you are in the United States and you want to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, it looks like you're going to have to wait. Nintendo has confirmed that Switch 2 pre-orders in the US will be delayed due to the recently announced tariffs by President Donald Trump. Now, again, guys, I look at this stuff and I wonder sometimes how much of this is politically motivated, obviously. You got to think about a whole bunch of things. People know that everybody wants to Switch 2 for the most part. And if they can make Donald Trump look bad by essentially blaming his tariffs for the reason why the system might go up in price, or for the reason why the system might not even come out anytime soon in the US, they'll do it, right? I feel like they'll take any opportunity. The journalists have been running all this nonsense about the tariffs for a while now. I saw a couple of journalists try to claim that the tariffs are the reason why the Nintendo Switch is $450. But the hilarious thing is, number one, that can't be true, because obviously they're delaying it now that they announced the tariffs, which means that the price point wasn't from the tariffs, right? The price point was determined well in advance, right? This is what the funny thing is. They're trying to make it seem politically motivated, but at the end of the day, the pricing for the Nintendo Switch 2 has been confirmed for a long time now. They already knew what they were going to sell this console for. They already knew what they were going to ask for it, so it has nothing to do with the tariffs. But now that they've announced the pre-order delay, I think it's safe to say that that essentially proves that this has nothing to do with the tariffs, at least the pricing anyway. All the pricing for all this stuff, the video games, they're trying to blame on the tariffs, saying, oh, it's because of the tariffs that they're $80 and $90 now, whatever. It's such cope, man. The tariffs have nothing to do with the pricing of the system, and they have nothing to do with the pricing of the game. But now that they've been announced, obviously Nintendo's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let's see if we're going to have to up the price or do something to offset these tariffs. We don't really know if that's going to happen yet, but that's essentially what's probably going through Nintendo's mind. In a statement released by Nintendo, the company says it needs to assess the potential impact that the tariffs will have on the U.S. market before allowing purchases. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch in the U.S. will not start April 9th, 2025, in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions, the company said. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. Pre-orders for the new console move forward as planned for other parts of the world, with some already available. So again, guys, we don't know if this is going to up the price. I gotta imagine that it probably won't, right? Especially since Nintendo has already announced the price to people and they're not happy, right? Can you imagine if Nintendo decides to up the price of the console or the video games because of the supposed tariffs? Can you imagine that? Like, it would be such negative press. I mean, I just did a video recently that a lot of you people saw regarding the fact that Nintendo was getting crucified in one of their live streams because they were basically the chat was being spammed with drop the price nonstop. People were spamming that. Like over 90% of the comments were drop the price. So it's very clear that a lot of people are very upset over the pricing of Nintendo Switch 2, the console, and more so the video games. People don't want to be spending $80 to $90 for a video game, especially out of this country. There are some countries where you're going to be spending $100 plus for a Nintendo Switch game. It's insane, man. It's one of those things where no matter what, people are going to justify it. Obviously, you're going to have the Nintendo shills out there that are going to say whatever they got to say to make their big boy, Nintendo look like the good guy. And I get it, but nobody who's consumer first should be advocating for $90 games, $80 games. Like, nobody should be doing that. But people are going to do that anyway. So it says the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced as launching on June 5th, 2025 with a $449 price point in the US. Pre-orders for the new system were expected to begin at stores openly across various retailers in the country, along with other online-only retailers. As of writing, pages for the console remain up on sites like GameStop and Best Buy. However, no pre-order information can be found at this time. Insider Gaming has reached out to a number of U.S. retailers for comment on the delay. Should responses be received, they will be added to this story. Now, I don't think they're gonna say anything. I don't think they can say anything, right? I don't think GameStop, Best Buy, or anybody can say anything, at least not officially anyway. I gotta imagine that they could have insiders, they can have, leakers or whatever, but nobody's gonna actually make an official statement and say, yeah, Nintendo is screwing you U.S. people. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna say that. Nobody's gonna speak out against Nintendo. So ultimately, at the end of the day, man, this whole thing with the tariffs is one big clusterfuck. Obviously they're taking every opportunity to drag this story to make Trump look as bad as possible. Trump announced the tariffs just hours after the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct event. As part of his tariffs, countries like Vietnam and Cambodia, when Nintendo moved Switch 2 production to, were hit with rates of 46% and 49% respectively. This led to wide speculation on the price of the system in the U.S. Based on Nintendo's response, it seems they are concerned about it as well and are set to reevaluate their plans. I don't think they're going to raise the price. I just don't. I don't think they can afford to. From a PR press standpoint, I don't think they can afford to. Oh, and you could call it unfortunate timing when Nintendo announced their system and their pricing ahead of time, just a couple of hours before the tariffs. But let's be real, man. They knew that the tariffs were coming. Everybody knew that the tariffs was coming. Trump has been talking about this for the longest time, even before he was in office. They all knew it was coming, and they should have prepared at least somewhat in some way, shape, or form. They should have prepared for it. You can argue, well, they didn't know how much it was actually going to be, and sure, that's true. They didn't know what the percentage was, but surely you have analysts, you have people that you pay for that could have told you, hey, this is probably what it's likely going to be, and we should adjust accordingly just in case that it is. And if it's not, well, hey, we're going to win anyway, because then we got more profit because we adjusted for a tariff that's not there, right? So this is something they could have done, but they didn't do for whatever that reason may be. I think Nintendo just flat out didn't care. I think they know that people are going to buy up their shit no matter what. And I think at this point, if they have to increase the price, that people are still going to buy it no matter what. I think they're more likely to increase the price on their video games than they are on their console. But time is going to tell what ends up happening from here, because it's really about the production of the Switch 2. The production of the Switch is in those places, Cambodia and Vietnam, so that is more likely to affect the console itself than the video games. But again, time is going to tell how Nintendo wants to approach all of this. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.